Hello and welcome back to the Double D's podcast.
Today we're going to be talking about nihilism and existentialism and kind of just discussing both and kind of this versus that and just comparing them a little bit.
Yeah, comparing and contrasting. So I'll
Comparing and
explain
contrasting.
I'll explain nihilism really quick. It's just like the general belief that like nothing matters, which is sort sounds kind of edgy. It originates largely from Buddhism, and it like argues that life is intrinsically meaningless, and any attempt to find meaning is futile. And it rejects things like objective truth and objective morality because in a meaningless world there can't be anything like objective.
Yeah, I kind of get
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Um,
So
yeah, you go ahead, go ahead.
existentialism is kind of like the idea that the world is meaningless unless you give it meaning. Nothing can give your life meaning. And the absurd is kind of like one of the main reasons for that. It's a term that just means that the world is kind of random and meaningless, but like your job is to give yourself meaning and no one else can give you meaning like an institution or
Mhm. Like
like
religion.
money or religion,
Yeah,
big one. And one of the things I found was that this idea of absurd like really directly clashes with that, and like they're complete opposites.
yeah,
And existentialism is very kind of similar to nihilism in that it's like the world is meaningless, or that your life doesn't have meaning unless you give it to it.
hmm
But that's kind of where existentialism and nihilism were like they get mixed up a lot because they're fairly similar. And one of the main contributors to both, Friedrich
hmm
Nietzsche,
that's def. It's a hard name to pronounce. I
good
forgot, but yeah,
enough.
man, it's
Uh,
close.
and he was like involved, fairly involved in, actually very involved
Very, yeah,
in both ideas. So that's kind of where some confusion between the two topics
yeah,
gets a little mixed up, a little bit similar. And another topic is authenticity, which means the definition means like to be true to yourself and to be true to like how you present yourself.
hmm
The most often used is like true to other people, and like
yeah, or true to
the way you
yourself.
present yourself is the same way that you really are.
Yeah,
And an example of this would be Sartor Soldier, and it was kind of a what's the word?
thought experiment.
The Sartor Soldier was kind of a thought experiment that meant that like if this soldier was like he had a sick mother at home, but he really wanted to go fight in this war, and that's like what he really believed in, it would be inauthentic to go care for his sick mother, even though it's generally considered the right thing to do.
It's because it's not something that he like is striving to do. It's not like
It's not his goal in
his yeah,
life.
exactly.
Where um, to be authentic to himself, he would have to go fight in the war, which is something he truly believed in, something he truly
Felt like it was something that he wanted to do. Like it's like
exact
yeah, yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like he wanted to do it, and it was exactly what he wanted to do. Having them mixed up is like fine, but outlining like the differences between both is like very important, and
yeah,
also the similarities.
yeah. There's I think there's a lot of similarities between them. Like they both have the idea that like well the general idea that there's no really meaning in the world, except like existentialism. It believes like there is meaning that we're able to create, but not like it's not like essentialism. Like it's very 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 different from essentialism, in which it argues that essentialism argues that there's within oneself there's always one thing that they have to be doing in life that's like their destiny of sorts.
Yeah, their duty,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like like
Like say for the
yeah, like
soldier,
dude,
like his essence would be going to fight in the war,
but
but existentialism, yeah,
his duty would be to care for his like sick mother,
yeah, exactly,
which
exactly.
is and both of nihilism and essentialism, like both existentialism and nihilism disagree with essentialism,
Yeah, a lot. Like it's they are
polar opposites.
almost yeah, almost polar opposites exactly. The only difference between existentialism and nihilism in that aspect is that while existentialism argues that like it's up to us to find meaning and that meaning is important. Nihilism, it's like, yeah, sure, you can find meaning, but whatever meaning you find also does not matter at all. You know, like heat, death of the universe, we're all gonna die eventually. Nothing we do really
It's kind
matters.
of like nihilism's kind of like worn out, a little bit depressed. Like he's like 45, and existentialism's like he's like
He's
18,
he's
ready
like
to go off
fresh
to
out of
uni.
college. He's like just ready for life.
I'm gonna
Nihilism's
make
gone
I'm
through
gonna
a divorce or two. It
I'm gonna
knows
make a
what's up.
difference.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I think an interesting topic is like what's more popular
yeah, exactly. Because
because
I think nihilism's had like a big uptake, like from the younger generation especially. Because like I hear a lot of people talking about, well, not a lot of people. It's like philosophy. There's not that many people talking about it in general, um, but I hear it talked about a lot more often than many other like philosophies. You know?
I find like the main way that both of our um like talked about, or not necessarily talked about, but they're just referenced a lot
Yeah,
in either like jokes or kind of sayings or
like just pop culture in
um
general.
pop culture. But so what do you find, which one do you think is like a better?
Well,
Like if you had to pick one over the other,
I personally like nihilism more because it seems like more fun, you know?
what do you mean more,
Like
yeah, what do you mean more fun? Like
I don't know. It just
the world is so meaningless.
like 'cause it really leans into that literally nothing you do matters no matter what happens. We're all going to die eventually. Like the heat death of the universe.
I mean,
It
there's kind of a positive side to that,
yeah, exactly. Like
where it's
you
like,
can
well,
think about it more
nothing,
optimistically.
nothing really matters. You're
Yeah, nothing
fine.
really matters. So I'm just going to have fun while I'm here, you know? But
I failed the calc test.
existentialism.
Well, nothing really matters in the end, anyways.
Exactly. I can relate to that one right now. Oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah, I think existentialism is, I like it
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
I think, because there's a bigger like will to go forwards with it, if you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Like there's something to look forward to,
Hmm.
where it's like, well, I gotta find my meaning.
Yeah, like more of an
Whereas,
emphasis on something
well, it's
meaningful,
like
you
a
know?
goal that
Yeah.
you can look forward to, and you can be like, oh well, I keep doing new things and things to do, and just going out there. Eventually find something that I really want to do, and
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's like a nice
But then you can contrast that again with if you don't find that meaning, that sucks.
it's
Like
terrible.
that
Like,
would
but what if there is no meaning for you, and you're just to be general person, really average, doesn't you have interests, but you don't any good at them.
just like background character, like extra
Yeah,
on a movie set kind of thing. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I guess
and
that's a type of meaning, you know? Just
but
existing.
just
Just
like they said, assembly just average.
yeah, exactly.
A word for being average,
Exactly.
but I think like if you, I feel like that hurt more because it's like if
Yeah.
you, especially if you believe in existentialism and you end up being one of those people who just never finds what they're passionate about,
Yeah.
what gives them meaning. I think that hurt a lot more. I think nihilism is kind of like very steady. It's
Yeah.
like, well, it's better in times that where things are kind of dark. You're not doing
Hmm.
great. Maybe you just I don't know, fail the calc test,
Yeah.
and you're like stuff's not so bad
Yeah.
because at least it doesn't have any meaning. At least this didn't mean that much.
Hmm.
Whereas existentialism, I think in times of prosperity and good, maybe you did really good on a calc test.
Yeah. You're
Hmm.
like, maybe
Damn,
I'm meant to
I
be a
could have nailed that.
mathematician.
Yeah. Whereas like you do better.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that you find that you chose to look at nihilism in like a more optimistic light. 'Cause it's like more commonly portrayed as like really pessimistic, like oh nothing matters, like why even live, man? Like this sucks. But you chose to be like, yeah, I mean nothing matters. So like if I fail that calc test, like who really cares? Like it's interesting because there's like with
Well,
nihilism,
guys,
there's yeah, go on.
I think we like humans like a redemption story a lot,
Yeah, exactly.
and nihilism allows that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, because
Where it's like,
you can go from like the lowest of lows and just be like, you know what, nothing matters. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get
yeah,
better.
and
You
it's
know?
like It's like nothing matters, so I can do something different next time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where existentialism kind of same thing, but there's also
Similar.
a
Yeah.
deeper meaning of like, well, what if that's what I was passionate about? And I
Yeah.
just
Exactly.
I
More
just directly,
consequences.
yeah, what if there's a little bit more consequence?
I think it's about time for our ad segment. Uh, this podcast is brought to you by Marius's Bear Awareness for all of your bear danger alerts.
Keeping campus safe since 2001.
Um, anyways, back to this existentialism and nihilism and all that fun stuff. Um, with nihilism, there's really two. There's many schools of thought, obviously, but there's like two broad ones, which is like optimistic nihilism and like pessimistic nihilism. And pessimistic nihilism is really like it's like sad, like oh man, nothing matters, why live? But optimistic nihilism is a lot more fun. It's way more fun because you can be like, man, nothing matters, so I'm just gonna vibe. Like I'm just gonna chill out, you know?
You know, uh,
Live, laugh, love.
live, laugh, love. uh, buy a van,
Yep, yep.
go sleep in it, and then go rock climbing.
Exactly, exactly. Like oh, what's his face?
Rock climber man.
Yeah, rock climber. The guy who sold El Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his name. He's cool. He's probably a nihilist.
I,
Well,
I kind of doubt.
considering he free soloed El Cap, which is high risk of death there, he probably realized there's not too much
If
overarching meaning in life, you know?
he probably weighed out the consequences. It was like, well, if I'll be a legend forever if I do this, but if I don't, I die.
If I don't
So
want to die and I don't have to face the embarrassment, so
yeah,
yeah, it's a
true.
win-win, honestly. Um, or he might have been an existentialist and think this mountain, free soloing this mountain,
Is my true
is
purpose,
my true purpose in life. It's my meaning. It's what I was. That's more
my
essentialism, though.
ultimate goal.
It's what he wants to do. It's a meaning that he's made for himself. It's a challenge of sorts.
And without, if he doesn't do it, then it's pretty much the same thing as dying.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
Oh
yeah,
man,
he
that was a
basically has
great
to.
line, wasn't it?
That was pretty fire. That was pretty fire. I think that's also a great way to end our little podcast here. So that's about all the time we have. And
Um,
before we go, here's a little cat joke for the road. So, Damien, why did the cat have to go to the accountant?
they got caught up in the pyramid scheme.
Aha!